Today I'm working on a stained glass cross. I've already got the colors I want to use and I've traced the pattern onto all of the glass. This is my favorite part of the process. I enjoy choosing the colors that I'll use, and cutting the glass is very satisfying. But it's also one of the trickiest steps. Every type of glass behaves a little differently. Like this white glass I'm using isn't very forgiving when it comes to tight curves or large bends. Because of that, you'll notice that some of the sections aren't fully cut out. I usually leave those tougher areas for the grinder, as it helps me avoid risky breaks that could ruin the whole piece. That said, I try not to leave too much material for the grinder, because that adds a lot of time-consuming work later and adds extra wear to my tools. I try to be as careful as possible during this process, in an attempt to preserve as much of the glass as I can. Anyone who's worked with stained glass before knows the pain of breaking a piece and having to put it into the scrap pile. Once I've got everything cut out, it's time to move to the table grinder. During grinding, the main goal is to flatten the edges and remove any sharp or uneven spots left from scoring and breaking. This step is really important, as it gives the copper foil a clean and even surface to stick to later. You may notice that some of the Sharpie washes away on some of the pieces. That can be both a blessing and a curse. While it makes cleanup easier, I sometimes lose my outline too early, and I have to either eyeball the grind or go back and retrace the piece. You can also see on some pieces I take care of that extra material as mentioned earlier. Once everything is ground, I wash and dry each piece before foiling. Washing is critical here. Any leftover glass powder can prevent the foil from sticking properly. You'll see me go back and forth between fitting pieces and grinding them down, followed by re-washing them. This part can be pretty tedious, but getting a tight and accurate fit matters. Small mistakes here can ripple through the rest of the project and throw everything off. A person could spend hours working on this step alone, as you're trying your hardest to imitate perfection. Next comes foiling, which is easily the longest and most boring part of the process. Every piece gets wrapped in a copper foil, which is what allows the solder to flow and hold the entire project together. It's not exciting to watch, it's not exciting to do, but it requires a lot of focus. My phone actually dies partway through this step, so you won't see all of it, but trust me, you're not missing much. During this extended step, it allows me plenty of time to think. I like to ponder during whatever project I'm working on and connect it back to the roots of stained glass. As this is a cross, it was very nostalgic in a sense, as stained glass roots itself in religion. Back before common people were literate, churches used stained glass to tell stories, as it was the easiest way to translate the message. When I began creating stained glass, it baffled me how artisans were able to create such intricate details on these massive panes of glass. That was until I learned the finer details are actually painted on with a glass powder paint, and the whole thing is fired in an oven. But anyways, so after everything is foiled and arranged the way I want, it's time to start soldering. I brush on flux to help the solder flow smoothly over the copper. First I just tack the pieces together so nothing shifts around, and then I go back and apply more flux and start soldering the longer runs. The edges are usually the trickiest part. Here I'm trying to create a beaded edge, as it gives a little bit of a visual flair and it adds a bit of extra strength. Once the soldering is done, I'll wash the piece again and remove any leftover flux. After that, I apply a copper patina to darken the solder, and then I'll finish everything off with a wax polish. That final step brings out the shine in the glass and helps keep the solder looking good over time. And here you can see the final product in the sun. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.